and gentlemen, Gary Moore.
Thanks very much. Welcome to our show. Our first guest is, this is a great delight to me. I'm a big fan, big fan. Our first guest today plays a very vital part in one of television's most successful and long-running programs, and we'll meet him in a moment, but first let's meet our long-running panel here on To Tell the Truth.
Eddie Carlisle. Wow. Bill Cook. Peggy Cat. And Larry Barton.
Well, you went and did it, Peggy. You went and bought some hot pants.
That's right.
They're great.
But
If you got crazy legs.
I didn't go and buy hot pants. These are what I used to call shorts to wear on the beach.
Actually, that's a pair of shorts from the beach. Well, they're great. Great legs, too. Larry, what's the matter? You ashamed of your legs?
No, but I tell you, it's hard sitting here.
Well, I think it's time for us to get down to the nitty-gritty of things. Now, our first guest works on a very famous television show, and I'm going to show you just a bit of a famous trademark used on that program. Now, see if you can identify the show, kids.
Oh, so Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible, of course. You always see that tape recorder up at the top.
Self-destructs.
Yeah. Now let's meet the man who works on Mission Impossible.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Bob Johnson.
Number two.
My name is Bob Johnson.
Number three.
My name is Bob Johnson.
Now, in order to present Bob Johnson's story, we've decided to depart from our usual format. Instead of an affidavit, I will tell you Bob Johnson's story just the way he does it on Mission Impossible, or as closely as I can. Now, watch and listen. Good evening, panel. The problem this evening is one of identity. The man you are looking at is Bob Johnson. For 5 years, Johnson has been the voice of mystery on the self-destruct tapes featured on the famous television program Mission Impossible. It will be a difficult job to identify Johnson since he will alter his voice while answering your questions today on To Tell the Truth. Furthermore, since Johnson's face has never been seen on Mission Impossible, we can only tell you that he is one of the three men you are now looking at. Panel, if you do not identify the real Bob Johnson in 4 minutes, it will cost To Tell the Truth $500. So do a good job of questioning. Good luck. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. And that is his affidavit. And how about that? Well, for heaven's sake, one more. Oops. I'm now wearing hot pants. He'll be right back after I put myself out. Okay, let's see if you can outguess the panel. All three of these gentlemen claim to be Bob Johnson, the mystery voice on Mission Impossible. And let's begin the questioning with Spooky Tooth Bill Cullen.
Yeah, you know, that's a good job. You don't get your face showing all around, and you can do all kind of other jobs and things like that. Bob number two, how did you get this job?
Well, I had to audition for it, of course. There were several other candidates, but I did make it.
Number three, I know a little bit about this business. Did you know the producer at all?
Bruce Geller, yes, very well.
I mean, did you know him before you got the job?
Yes.
Because that helps many times in this business. People say to me, how do you know somebody? Number one, because we're talking about the job you do, I don't mean to be improper, but is this a well-paying job?
Oh, I think it's adequate for the size of the job that's being done.
They all sound like they're altering their voices, don't they? Okay.
Skillful.
I altered my voice. Number two, does this job pay over scale?
No, it's fixed by AFTRA.
So, I see. Number one, I'll ask you the same question. Does it pay over scale? You know what scale is, number one, don't you?
Yes, well, each individual, of course, bargains for what he can get.
Over scale.
Yes.
Wait a minute, I just had a terrible thought. Number three, does this job pay under scale?
No.
Darn it, I thought we were about to uncover something there.
In this business, that would indeed be mission impossible. Let's go to Peggy.
Number one, who used to play Cinnamon?
Cinnamon was played by Barbara Bain.
Thank you. Number three, where do you shoot Mission Impossible?
Paramount Studios in Hollywood.
Thank you. Number one, you were on one night and switched to another. Could you tell me those 2 nights?
We were on Sunday night to begin with, and we've shifted now to Saturday night.
Thank you. Number one, who's your agent?
My agent is Don Schwartz.
Thank you. Number three, who's your agent?
Bill Fix.
Number two, do you get paid on repeats the same as you got for the first time?
Yes,
Gee, that's really pretty darn good. How long has it been on the air, number two?
5 years.
5 years? Thank you. And number one, who was the person who played who's Barbara Bain's husband in real life?
Martin Landau.
Thank you. Number three, who is Peter Graves related to?
I'm Jim Arness.
What is
His
he
brother.
to? Oh, it's his
Brother.
brother. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. And that takes us to Larry Blyden.
Number two, what unions do you belong to?
SAG and AFTRA.
SAG and AFTRA. Number one, which ones do you belong to?
I belong to SAG and AFTRA and also AGMA.
And also AGMA. Which one is that?
American Guild of Musical Artists.
Son of a gun, I didn't see that. Number two, what or where is Alta Loma?
Alta Loma?
Yeah.
I'm afraid I can't really answer that question.
Okay, number one, who owns KTLA? Do you know?
Yeah, I think it's the big singer baseball man, Gene Autry.
Okay, number three, what is Greg's last name on the show? His real life last
Greg Morris.
Greg Morrison. Number two, what studio did you shoot it at?
The Paramount Studio.
Paramount Studio. Number one, who replaced Barbara Bain?
Well, nobody replaced her the first year she was off. This year we have Leslie Warren.
Okay.
Hey, everybody knows a lot about this, Kitty.
Number three, who's the writer on the show?
There are different writers every week.
Thank you. Number two, who arranges all those extraordinary technical effects where people are screwing things into something and putting wires together?
Well, Bruce Geller himself has a lot to do with that.
And number one, are you a singer?
I do a little singing.
Number two, three, are you an actor?
The stuntman as
You're a
well.
stuntman. How did you get to use just your voice then?
Well, I was on the show when they first started doing it.
Number two, are you a stuntman?
Well, I used to be an I used to be in amateur theatricals, and then I got into radio spot news reporting.
Thank you. Number one, how many of these do you do at once?
Well, the beginning of the season, maybe 4 or 5 that are stacked up, and then as we go along, we may do them one at a time.
Okay, this one may be tough. We have to make up our minds. Is it 1? Is it 2? Or is it 3? $50 for each wrong vote, $500 if all the votes are wrong. And Bill Cullen, you look, what are you doing? You're making a big fat goose egg
I
there?
know somebody.
Well, you know how bad I am at recognizing.
Yes.
And all this week I've been wrong every time. This is my first chance to be right, but I swear I recognize one of those gentlemen. I assume if I recognize him, I've met him or come across him or worked with him or something, because I work on both coasts.
Do you think that you have recognized the Bob Johnson, or is it just one of the gentlemen?
Well, I figure if I recognize him, I never go anywhere. I'm always around a studio, so he must be around a studio. So
All
if I
right.
know him, he must be in the business.
We get a disqualification,
I
which
think I
counts for
recognize
one
the Bob
wrong
Johnson.
vote, and Peggy, let's go to you.
You know, the funny thing is, I feel as though I know all their voices all sound so familiar. Number two really sounds familiar to me, but I don't know what. I voted for number one.
All righty, and Larry Blyden.
Well, I also voted for number one.
And that's my reason.
That's as good a reason as you're going to give all day. Kitty?
Well, I voted for number one because I think the man who does this voice is also a singer and would have to belong to AGMA, which I belong to too, so I recognize a fellow singer.
Boy, we better be right. We got one disqualification, which counts as a wrong vote. We got 3 votes for number one, and will the real Bob Johnson please stand up? Thank you, Bob. number two, you got a big booming voice there. You sound like you're in our business. What is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Scott Robinson. I do advertising for E.W. Bliss Company, a builder of heavy machinery.
Listen, you're a good boy. Good. Number three, sir, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Ryan Butler, and I'm an editor with Penthouse Magazine.
Oh, and you have your own dollar. Yeah. Bill, was that the right Bob Johnson? Did you disqualify yourself for the right reasons?
No. I thought it was number two.
You thought it was number two. Number two, had you ever met Bill Cullen anywhere before?
I don't know. You didn't go to Princeton, did you?
That's not the only place I didn't go.
Bob,
I'm having a great week.
it's I know you have no script, no copy with you. We wouldn't want you to give you a real all-out performance, but could you give us a couple of phrases in the voice that you use on the tape?
Good afternoon, Mr. Moore. The man you're looking at is Bob Johnson, a signer of Missions Impossible.
There you go. And you really find somebody who looks like his voice, and he looks like his voice, doesn't he? It's a great voice. Bob, thank you for being with us, as well as your friends here on To Tell the Truth. Thanks a lot. Our next guest is a young man who truly believes that he is his brother's keeper. And we'll find out more about him in just about 122 seconds. And now let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is William Hoyland.
Number two.
My name is William Hoyland.
Number three.
My name is William Hoyland.
Well, now, pal, you got to admit that all three of them look like a very good William Hoyland, don't you think? Any one of the three could be William Hoyland. But just for laughs, let's drop the curtain and we'll start all over again. Drop the curtain. Back up, gentlemen, quick before the curtain hits you. There you go. Don't hit the young men. There we go. I will now hum 12 bars from my latest hit.
Very good.
Isn't that good? Yeah. All right. Now let us then meet the boys again.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Arnold Hoyland.
Number two.
My name is Arnold Hoyland.
Number three.
My name is Arnold Hoyland.
Arnold Hoyland. Uh-huh. So you see, you'll notice that the names have changed, but the faces have remained the same. Now let me explain. The story you're about to hear concerns Arnold and William Hoyland. And Arnold and William are identical twins. So here's what we did. When we dropped the curtain, Arnold replaced William. Yeah. However, the two imposters remained the same. Therefore, only one person of our team of challengers actually changed place with another. Is that clearly misunderstood?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now then, let's listen to Arnold Hoyland's story. I, Arnold Hoyland, together with my twin brother William, recently went through an unusual ordeal. We were walking through Central Park one day when we decided to take a shortcut across the frozen lake. Well, before we knew it, the ice began to crack, and I, Arnold, fell in. By lying flat on the ice and reaching out and pulling hard, William managed to pull me out. We started across again, and you'll never believe it, but this time William fell in the icy water. We used the same rescue procedure as before. However, we were afraid of falling in again, so we decided to stay put. Police tried to rescue us by extending a ladder from the shore and by shooting a rope from a gun. Nothing worked. I began to think we weren't ever going to get off of that ice. Finally, a police helicopter came down. We crawled in and were flown to safety, cold and wet, but alive. Signed, Arnold Hoyland. Fun. All right, Kitty Carlisle, let's start with you.
That's the neatest trick of the week. Number two, how old are you?
12.
And number three, how old are you?
12.
Oh, you're all 12. Number one, how did you rescue each other? I missed that part.
We lay down flat on our bellies and pulled each other up.
Oh, I see. And number 3, when the helicopter arrived, what did you do?
We just climbed right up on in.
On what?
There's a, what do you call it? We just climbed right in. It was like about 5 feet off the ground, and the guy helped us up.
Oh, number 2, aren't there pontoons for it to land on the ice in the helicopter?
Pardon?
Are there pontoons for like skis? Is that what it lands
No,
on?
they just kept above the ice.
Oh, they never came right down.
No.
And somebody helped you in by pulling you up.
Yes.
And number 1, were you soaking wet when you got in?
Yes.
Number 3, did you have pneumonia?
No.
Answer is no. We go to Bill.
Number 2, admittedly, this whole thing of falling through the ice into the water was a terrible experience, but did the helicopter ride sort of make it worthwhile to you?
A little.
Had you ever, number 2, been in a helicopter before?
No.
Number 1, where did the helicopter take you in order to get you to safety?
Sure.
Those helicopter pilots, they're thinking every minute.
New York City's finest, I'll tell you. Number 3, did I understand this happened in Central Park?
Yes.
Number 1, when did this happen?
February 20th, a couple of Saturdays ago.
Unless, of course, you're in certain areas where we're on tape. And then it would have been last years ago.
Let's go to Peggy.
Number 3, whereabouts in Central Park did it happen? Which body of water?
It was the boat lake on about 75th Street.
Thank you. Number 2, when the helicopter dropped you to shore, like, well, they didn't just take you to the edge of the lake, did they?
Yes, they did. And from there we climbed into the ambulance
And where did the ambulance take you?
to Roosevelt Hospital.
And how long did they keep you there?
About 45 minutes.
Thank you. Number 1, what did your mother say?
She said, "Oh dear."
Or approximately.
Was she angry?
Well, she was sort of angry and happy that we were alive.
Well, and number 3, are you allowed to go walk out on that boat lake ice if you're, were there any warnings? Or was the red
No,
ball
there
up?
weren't any barricades or signs or anything. That
It seems to me there should have been, but then that's none of my business. Then we go from Peggy to Larry Black.
Yeah, number 1, where is Roosevelt Hospital?
it's down about 49th Street in the west side.
Okay, number 2, what grade are you in now?
But wait,
What grade?
7.
7th grade. Number 3, do you and your brother ever try to fool people on purpose? Just like pretend to be each other?
Fool people?
Yeah, just like say I'm Arnold and
Oh, once in a while, not
and whoever
usually.
you are, you're not, you're the other one.
Once in a while, not usually.
Okay, number 2, did you get a cold when you fell into that?
Yes, I did.
Did your brother get a cold?
Yes, he did too.
Well, that's the least you could do. Did you have the same cold or were they different colds? Number 3, I have a note down here that I meant to ask, and I can't for the life of me read it, which shows you what class we're doing.
Well, just in time the bell rang then, and so we have to mark our ballots, and we do not consult among ourselves. Independently, we mark for 1, or for 2, or for 3. We pay $50 for each wrong vote, $500 if all the votes are wrong, and Kitty Carlisle.
I know I'm wrong, but I would like to disagree with you. I think it's everybody's business in New York that a lake that is possible for children to fall into has no warnings around it is a disgrace.
Right.
And it's everybody's business, and I voted for number 2.
All righty. We got a 2, and Bill Cullum.
And I think, but in defense of our great city administration, even though they were lax there, they showed great presence of mind in picking the boy up and bringing him to the shore as opposed to putting him back in the lake. And for that reason, I voted straight Democratic.
And by the way, may I ask you before the rest of the votes are in, are you voting because of the story, or are you voting, any of you, because you think you recognize the Switching Twins?
I think I recognize.
You think you
I
recognize the
don't
Switching
recognize
Twins?
the switch at all.
And Peggy says no, and Larry says no. All right, let's continue
So
then
I'm
with the
probably
voting.
wrong. Well, I'm going to vote for the kid that's got the world's shortest helicopter ride, number 3.
Number 3, there you go. And Larry Bladden.
Never in my life I saw a kid named William or Arnold Hoyland.
Yes.
It's number 2. But I voted, nevertheless, for number 3 because I thought that I did notice a change.
You thought that you did notice the change.
That's what I thought.
Okay, you're the only one who claims that. We've got 2 2s and 2 3s. And rather than have, tell you what, let's get his brother out here. And as soon as we see his brother, William, come out here. And Ain't it so? Number one, you were great. What is your real name? What do you do?
I'm Preston Maybank, and I go to the Buckley School, a student.
Very serious number two with 2 wrong votes. What is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Steve Mike, and I go to Terrell Junior High School in Such Plains, New Jersey.
William, where do you two guys go to school, you and Arnold?
We go to Bentley Private School on West 86th Street.
What was the reaction of your schoolmates when all this came out in the papers and everything?
The next day, everybody was asking us questions, what happened.
And that's all? You weren't big heroes or one thing? People tend to become heroes after these great catastrophes, huh?
Yeah.
People get your autograph and all that?
Did you get through the Daily News?
Yes.
Big exciting time, huh? Hey, welcome out. And welcome also to Tell the Truth as well as your imposters. And thank you very much.
Introducing Plus.
Well, friends, if you'll tune this show in at this same time tomorrow, we've got the biggest surprise for you we've ever had on this show. Unfortunately, what it is escapes me at the moment. I've forgotten what it is, but I'll tune in and try to find out myself. So you be there, huh?
In addition to the cash awards, our central characters today will receive the Sandy Saver from Mallory Battery Company, powered by Duracell. The long-distance power cell that lasts far longer than ordinary batteries. Transportation and other considerations provided by Chevrolet, featuring the 1971 Impala. More wheelbase, more glass, more sound-deadening materials, all at a Chevrolet price. Prizes or product mentions were furnished and or paid for by the manufacturers or supplier of the products or services identified on this program. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
Will the next game show enter and sign in, please? Hey, it's What's My Line? Up next, here on Game Show Network.